Hey, Tony Gaskins here. Man, listen to me. It's something that, I want to send this warning out to men. This warning to the men, and it's something that I had to deal with and live through myself. And it's very dangerous, because, and I kind of touch on this a little bit in my book that I just wrote for men, that I still gotta edit it, but entitlement is dangerous. You gotta be very careful, because one of the things that we ain't paying attention to is when we go to feeling entitled. We go to feeling like something owed to us. We go to feeling like it got to be our way. Everything got to be comfortable. And we go to feeling like that, and we ain't counting the blessings. And things get dangerous. So what I'm going into, I decided to shift into this state of where the Bible talk a lot about keeping your heart in a humble state, as it talks about, being lowly, humble, slow to anger, controlling yourself, self-control, having self-control, being slow to anger is greater than a man with great power. A man who can control his spirit is greater than a man who can conquer a city. And so all the Bible is talking about in these instances is emotional intelligence and contentment. The Bible even discussed contentment with godly gain, or contentment with great gain. I'm messing up the wording, but it's basically just explaining to be cool, calm, and collected. We call it emotional intelligence, and other people describe it as being stoic, stoicism. But cool, calm, calm and collected. Y'all gotta forgive me. Being cool, calm, and collected. And the Bible talk about this, and it's really the way of a man. And one of the things you'll realize too, even in the good book, it was they had to go to a lot of war, because they was conquering the territory. The Israelites was conquering the territory that God had promised them, but God promised it to them, but He was promising them victory. The promise wasn't the people just gonna move and then y'all could move in. No, they had to go fight for it. They had to go fight. They had to go squabble. Go on, get out there, wallow. We used to call it wallow back in the day. But they were wallowing, boy. They had to go square up, throw hands, and get the land. But all throughout the explanations of a man is never do you see an explanation of where a man is supposed to be given to rage, given to wrath. Well, given to wrath if a man mess with another man's wife, cross him. But you're supposed to be slow to anger. The Bible says soft answer turneth away wrath. So what's happening right now is men going into this state of mind of like, what have you done for me lately? And you owe me. Men going into this state of keeping score. Oh, I did this, so you got to do this. I earned this, so you got to do this. And we going into that state of mind. And we don't understand that it's power in sacrifice. It's power in humility is a superpower. Quote me on that. That's my quote. Humility is a superpower. And we don't understand that. And patience is a superpower. We've heard patience is a virtue. Patience is a superpower. So, let me help you understand. A lot of times in my flesh, so last night I treated my wife and two of her friends out to a night on the town. They had a night on the town last night. And they went out as ladies, get dressed up, went out to the concert, and I secured the tickets through my friend and business partner. Her friends didn't have to pay nothing for the tickets. And my wife have her own money. She ain't have to pay for the tickets. So my flesh said, hey man, when you get done now dancing or having your good little time, but hey, I'ma need something. You know, talking about some hanky panky. But when she got home, I was like, you know what? I asked myself, I said, Tony, now it's after midnight. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Do you really want you some hanky panky? Or is it ego that's keeping score, that's saying, because I did this for you that spoke your love language, I need you to do this for me. And I realized it was just the flesh. Because when I actually thought about it, I'm like, my stomach don't want it, because my abs, you know, it take ab strength. My quads don't want it. My hamstrings don't want it. My lower back is hurting. My back don't want it. I said, don't nothing want it, but my mind. I was feeling like a R. Kelly song. My body telling me no, but see, it was my mind telling me yes. My body was telling me no. And so I said, you know what? Now imagine what does it feel like to get a blessing and not have to pay it back? To get a blessing and not have to give nothing for that immediately in return. And I also went to thinking about the human side of things. I was thinking like, okay, I don't work a job. My wife don't work a job. She way more energy in the middle of the day than she is at night. Well, my wife, she went and showered. She got in her night clothes. And when she came to the bed, we was talking. When she was quiet for 60 seconds, she went into a deep sleep. She was exhausted. Now imagine me with my wife being that exhausted, trying to climb on top of her. Who would that have been enjoyable for when you that tired? They was out in the sun, soaking wet from sweat, from the heat. And had been up since 5 a.m. that day. Imagine being up 5 a.m. and then not sleeping all day and then getting in the house 1 a.m. after being out with your friends, having your good time, singing and, you know, just enjoying each other's company on a Wednesday night. And my wife had to be up 4:30. She like to get up 4:30 because she like to do her stuff in the morning. She like to clean and cook and, you know, make breakfast and all of that. 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. She'll get up at the latest 5 o'clock because she wake the boys up at 5:50. So I don't have to get up. I don't have to get up. I slept till 9:50. I slept at 9:50. So my wife get up and she do that in the morning with our sons. She know that I stay up late at night and I work 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. So when she went to sleep about 1 o'clock in the morning, I still was up. For another 30, 45 minutes, I still was up. So I'm laying there, and then guess what? I could get an attitude and get on my phone, go look at something nasty, and get into some handler, but I don't do that. I don't do that because now ain't nobody up but me and God. My wife sleep, my son sleep. Ain't nobody up but me and God. I can't look at it like, oh, it's just me up. No, me and God up. God's still here with me. I could talk to the Lord. I could pray. Ask for forgiveness for my sins. Ask for provision for my needs. Me and the Lord up. So what we gonna do? See, a lot of men forget God's still watching you. You ain't by yourself when you in that bathroom. You ain't by yourself when you at the house by yourself and your woman ain't there. You ain't by yourself. God's still watching you. Guess what? What you do when ain't nobody looking but God, that's what determines your blessing. That's what determines your blessing. See, you going out into the public and you showing face and you giving back to the little homeless kids and you feeding the homeless and you doing a turkey drive. God don't care nothing about that. God don't care nothing about that if in your privacy you've been fornicating, you've been adulterating, you've been hating, you've been jealous, you've been plotting, you've been gossiping and backbiting. God don't care nothing about your turkey drive. It's canceled out because of who you are in the dark. See, what you're doing in the light, you smiling and cheesing, and you friends with everybody love you. God don't care about that. God don't care about that because you a Pharisee. If you holy and righteous when everybody looking, but then you filthy lucre when ain't nobody looking, you're a Pharisee. You're a viper. You're a fox, like Jesus talked about. So see, listen, your blessing publicly is determined by your decisions privately. You filled in the blank. You filled in the blank. So as men, what we have to go into is a place of servanthood, a place of servitude. Stop telling yourself you a king and it have you acting, if telling yourself you a king gonna have you acting arrogant, have you looking down your nose at women, how you walking around pompous with your chest poked out with a mentality of entitlement. If that's what it's gonna do, you need to tell yourself you are a peasant. If you don't understand that being a king means being a servant, because leadership is service, not dictatorship. But see, we telling ourselves we kings and then we want a dictatorship. And that's what we trying to put on our woman. Dictatorship. And that's why the relationships are failing. But see, what I have learned is, and I've learned this from a strong-willed, strong-minded woman, is that when you try to control a woman, you're gonna lose her. When you try to dictate, you're gonna get played. But when you are gentle, when you gentle with that woman, when you understand that your strength is your gentleness. Now, what kind of school is that? Oh, this the academy? That boy out there 15 at the daycare recess. My goodness. Okay, all right. I understand supporting the black school, but that boy 15 years old at recess on the playground. And so this is what we have to understand. We have to understand. This parking lot kind of jacked up right now. Look like the way these cars gonna back out is not gonna be good. We have to understand that a king is a servant, not a dictator. We got it confused. Who you think the people wanna support? Why you think, as crazy as Trump is with his indictments, why you think so many black folks is now preferring Trump over Biden? You know why? Cause Trump was sending stimulus. Trump was sending stimulus check. Listen, and you struggling to pay your bills, and Trump had stimulus going. So, guess what? People like, man, they got a meme going around that say, man, I know my uncle. I seen black men posting this. Say, man, I know my uncle Trump would have done sent everybody a $2,000 check for this heat. But so that's how people feeling. You know why? Because they're equating that stimulus as generosity from the leader of the country. So that endears them to the man. Black, white, or indifferent. It endeared them to the man. So this what I'm trying to tell you is, as a man, see, we going into this place of entitlement. Like right now, we got pro athletes that making millions of dollars. If they go in there and they don't like something, they make $1 million. They go in there, oh, I don't like something. Oh, the man lied to me. The GM lied to me. The coach lied to me. Give me a trade. Man, I want to be traded. Man, if you don't shut your behind up and go get that darn money and worry about generational wealth and stop worrying about what this man is in business to lie to you. What you thought? What you wanted, a friend? This business, boy. This business. What you wanted, a friend? And then too, it's like, these men have signed a contract. Like, bro, you can't just breach the contract. Like, I just tried to breach me a contract. I tried to get out me a contract. I was in a contract for 3 years. Then I added 1 more year. I did the 3 years. On the last year, I started doing it. Then I said, man, I don't want to do this no more. Hey, can we come to a deal? Amicably part ways. They said, no, we ain't finna amicably part no ways. You on the hook. You on the hook for $64,000 more. We ain't finna amicably part no ways. We going to court if you want to part ways. So I had to have somebody step in and see, this right here is God. My friend and business partner stepped in. He stepped in and took over for me. Stepped in and took over the $64,000 for me. He paid the price. And so now it's like this right here. He done took and paid the price out of nowhere. Them people thought they had me in a corner. They thought they had to bite me down. They thought they was finna take me to court and get a judgment. Look what God did. Sent a ram in the bush. Sent a ram in the bush. What you think that come from? Sent a ram in the bush, and then the next thing the Lord did is the Lord took and had that same friend take and bless me with a trip to get away to write my book. If you watch How I Wrote an 80-page book in 2 days, if you watch that right now, that same friend, that's the same friend that jumped in that contract and took over that $64,000. And that's the same friend that put me on a private jet and paid for my trip, all expense paid, to Miami, Florida, to write a book. And come on now. What not? So don't argue with me about private decisions do not turn into public blessings. Don't argue with me. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I doggone know. You hear me? I ain't telling what I think. I'm telling what I know. So listen to me. Gotta go in here and get my hair cut. I'ma holler at you. Y'all, hey, get out that spirit of entitlement now. Get out that spirit of entitlement. And get your life together. Hey, if you are in Tampa, Florida, make sure you get by Calhoun Barbershop. You're in Tampa, Florida, need your little edge, need your little haircut. Bring your sons and nephews, and for the ladies who y'all get y'all little shape ups and all that, get by Calhoun's on 34. Yeah, we get broke into the car sometimes, but get on by there and do what you got to do. God bless you.